Wow, okay, so I didn't think that 2K Games would go this far to salvage their latest debacle with NBA 2K18, which has been widely criticized for its shady implementation of microtransactions. Following the game's launch, reviews poured in from all the big media outlets, and most of them were actually fairly positive, despite criticisms of the game's over-reliance on virtual currency, or VC, for progression, which can be painstakingly earned in-game or purchased in bulk with real money. The game was praised for its great gameplay and mechanics. Now, the user score on Metacritic tells a completely different story. Even hardcore fans of the game agree that 2K18 has taken it too far with how it awards less VC than past games, how everything costs more VC, how certain cosmetics you purchase with VC, like haircuts, can't be previewed, and how haircuts are now treated like one-time use consumables, limiting players' ability to experiment with customization. Few deny that the game was artificially downgraded on multiple fronts to lure players into spending real money for VC packs and ease the game's chore of a progression system. And one formal reviewer, Aran Suddy from website The Sixth Axis, expressed similar sentiments, awarding the game a score of 3 out of 10. While the review praised the game for its visual, smooth on-court action and the neighborhood hub feature, it also criticized the ridiculous grind required to get anything good, 2K's insistence on slowing down progress to push VC packs, an inferior My Career story mode from past games, and how players are locked out of the auction house unless you pay in My Team. When 2K Games saw this, they seemingly jumped on it like a shark smelling blood. Soon after the review went up, the 3 out of 10 score was suddenly removed, nowhere to be seen. The score also disappeared from score aggregator websites like Metacritic and OpenCritic, which resulted in a significant score boost for the game. The review was also updated with the following excerpt. In discussion with 2K Games, we have temporarily removed the score pending a statement with regards to our criticisms, at which point it will be reinstated. Additionally, a draft conclusion was posted that incorrectly characterized our score as a protest vote and has been reworded to reflect that our criticisms are rooted in the effect that VC and microtransactions have on the gameplay. In other words, 2K Games reached out to the website and pressured them into revising the review because they didn't like the results. Now, it is worth noting that this review update wasn't posted by the original reviewer, but rather by his editor, as evidenced by this NeoGAF post in which Aran Suddy said, "Hello, reviewer here. After review went live, I've had no direct contact with 2K. Instead, their PR is chatting with my editor. All I know is that 2K are to issue a statement of some sort regarding issues raised in the review. Of course, the real issue is what updates the 2K18's VC system gets. Just think of this as a review now in progress. If things remain unchanged, so will my opinion. I'm not in direct contact with their PR department, going through the site editor instead. Obviously ruffled quite a few feathers." So yeah, 2K Games was pissed that somebody didn't eat up their bullshit microtransactions incentives and tactics and decided to take action. Another statement was provided through a comment in the review article by Aran Suddy's editor Stefan L., who said, "To be crystal clear, 2K haven't put pressure on us. They asked us to reconsider the score and question the use of the word protest, which is wrong in this context and completely on me. There is no worries about inappropriate blacklisting or anything like that. We are still waiting on the statement because they're trying to improve the balance. It's just whether or not they are prepared to reveal how they will be doing that. But we'll be returning a score and explaining what happened at 1 today. Appreciate the support. It's a bit of a faff." I'm sorry, what? They haven't pressured us, but they asked us to reconsider the score and questioned the use of the word protest. So, in other words, you were pressured. Eventually, earlier today, the 3 out of 10 score was restored to what it was, although the word protest was removed from the original review. I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that part of the reason why this review score was reinstated so quickly was because this topic began gaining a lot of traction in forums like NeoGAF. If it had gone under the radar, I can only imagine to what extent the review might have actually changed. I must say, 2K Games kind of shot itself in the foot on this one. In their attempt to intervene, this 3 out of 10 review has now gotten a lot more attention, and on top of that, they ended up looking even scummier than they were before by trying to intervene. Following the review score's reinstatement, Stephen L. released an extensive statement on what happened with their NBA 2K18 review. Here are the highlights. In our review, Oran raised the issue of the rate at which you can earn the game's virtual currency from play, how pervasive VC is through the game, and how this pushes you towards the microtransactions in a manner that seriously impacts the game. The conclusion that was originally posted read, "If you're a series fan, you may enjoy what you see," and the score below doesn't indicate the quality of the core basketball game, but rather protests how utterly invasive the microtransactions have now become. To categorize our review and its score as a protest vote against 2K was wrong on a number of levels, and it was something I believed I had removed when editing. It was largely for this reason that 2K's PR team got in touch after the review was published. Yes, they asked us to reconsider the score or shift to a review in progress, but I can't state strongly enough that there was no pressure or threat of blacklisting made or even implied. However, the word protest was still misplaced and needed to be removed, and it was while doing this that the olive branch of a statement surrounding planned changes and adjustments to NBA 2K18 was made. So I made the call to change the score to pending at the same time, get on my flight, and hope for something remarkable when I landed. While 2K are listening and reacting, they lower the pricing of in-game haircuts on Tuesday, for example. They still can't offer us specific information on or off the record about changes that are incoming. Hopefully they'll be revealed soon because, as Oran wrote, and as many people across Reddit, Twitter, and NeoGAF agree, that the demands of virtual currency and the push towards microtransactions in NBA 2K18 are currently too much. In light of this, and as was always the most likely outcome, the 3 out of 10 score has been restored to our review, and the wording remains intact aside from the changes to the conclusion. Well, it's definitely good to see that at least the original score was restored and that the original review was, for the most part, kept intact. I do find it suspect, however, that the editor was willing to take a statement from 2K Games about 2K18's future plans and potentially tweak the review and score around that. I don't care if they recently lowered the pricing of haircuts, that's not the game that shipped. That's not the game that the reviewer scored when he played through the game. The fact of the matter is that the game was released with overpriced cosmetics, artificially stagnant progression system, and intrusive microtransactions, so naturally, that is the game that should be reviewed. And if the reviewer felt as though all of this amounted to a 3 out of 10, then that's enough justification. If microtransactions actually got so much in the way that it completely marred his experience, which seems to be the case, then yes, the reviewer has the right to give it a low score. And I would even argue that he has the right to use the word protest, because it is bullshit that games are being downgraded or preying on human impatience to push players towards spending more money. And while other reviewers are eating this shit up, I'm glad that at least one reviewer had the balls to be real and point out just how glaring 2K18's microtransactions issues are. I truly believe that Oran Sutti's original review with the word protest actually represents his real sentiments towards the game. Notice how it was his editor, Stephen L., who addressed how the word protest was misused or whatever. I have yet to hear Oran Sutty speak for himself about his own review to that effect. I have yet to hear Oran say that he misspoke by using the word protest. The more I look at this, the more I get the distinct impression that his original review was patted against his real opinions with the removal of the word protest, in large part because of 2K Games' discussion with Stefan. It's definitely concerning to think that publishers are willing to reach out to journalists like this and ask them to change their opinions if it doesn't suit their agenda, especially when the low-scored review has valid complaints. And it's equally scary to think that the higher-ups of some of these media outlets are willing to consider it. I, for one, am 100% in support of Oran Sutti's review. I'm not saying that this represents everyone's opinions. All I'm saying is he expressed his own opinions on everything wrong with this game very clearly and justified the 3 out of 10 score as well as the use of the word protest. These are my thoughts and opinions anyway. I'd love to hear what you think about all this in the comments below. Also, if you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon for a chance to chat with me on Discord, to get your name in my videos, to play games with me, and much more. All contributions will go towards remaining 100% independent, so that shit companies like 2K Games won't have the benefit of knocking on my door and asking me to change my opinions or whatever. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.